but on the back of it, it's got a picture of a witch.
Oh, on the back of this?
Yeah, flying on the back.
Okay, guys, this is Gareth. He's been kind enough to answer some questions for me about his vessel, the broomstick, which we can see here. A lovely new vessel. Okay, Brian, how long have you had this vessel? Gareth, excuse me, sir, excuse me. How long have you had this vessel?
I've had this since 2015.
2015. And have you sailed it far?
I normally get down to Cornwall a couple of times a year.
Awesome.
But I normally do, in a season, I probably do about 1,000 miles.
1,000 miles a season, and that's in the UK, around the UK waters.
Yeah.
And how many crew do you usually take out on it?
Just normally, well, some of it single-handed, some with my girlfriend.
Oh, so you're quite happy to sail this single-handedly?
Yeah, I mean, I've been sailing single-handed an awful lot.
A lot?
Yeah, I kind of retired in 2012 and took the whole summer off with my previous boat. Just went sailing for the whole summer.
Okay.
I was on my own. And yeah, I do about half my sailing on my own.
Awesome. What would you say is the most dangerous thing that you come across sailing?
Other people.
That's a good answer, Brian.
Other people who
Gareth,
don't know what they're doing.
People who do, like us.
Well,
we'll be hopefully getting a lot of RYA training first.
I'll give you a few examples. I mean, like, it was really scary. I was out about a month ago, one of the first days after lockdown unlocked and allowed us to go out sailing. And I went out for about 6 hours. I just sailed down to Livingston and back. So I wasn't out for long. I must have heard 5 Maydays
Wow.
on that day, of which 1, possibly 2, were actually legitimate Maydays.
Yeah, and the others
people
are just...
calling up saying Mayday. Coast Guard answered and they said, we're in a dory, we're in Allen Bay and our engine stopped working. That's not a Mayday.
No.
There's no imminent loss.
No, I understand that, yeah.
So, and the other problem is when you're sailing, I said about other people being the most dangerous thing, is that when you're in close quarters with other boats, you as a sailor, there are certain obligations upon you as a sailor or as a motorboater, and you may well know what you're supposed to do regarding the regulations for prevention of collision. But you're always at the back of your mind, you're thinking, does he know?
Yeah, of course.
And there are situations where you are what's called the stand-on boat. You're not the right-of-way boat, you are the stand-on boat. What that actually means is your obligations are to keep doing what you're doing so you don't confuse the situation.
Okay.
And you expect the other guy, who is the giveaway boat, to make the appropriate manoeuvre so that you don't
to
crash.
avoid the trouble.
And the rules are pretty clear. You're not, as a stand-on boat, you mustn't confuse the situation by going, well, I'm going to turn this way to get out of his way, because if he turns the same way, you're still going to collide.
Yeah.
So, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, number 1, has he seen me? Number 2, does he know that I'm the stand-on boat? Number 3, does he know the international regulations for prevention of collision at sea?
Okay.
And so, yeah, that's why I say the most dangerous thing is probably other people.
Okay. Based on that answer alone, you seem to be really quite knowledgeable on the sea rules. When did you start training? Or how did you start training?
Oh, I started sailing dingers when I was...
the small training things?
Well, just ordinary open sailing dingers. When I was about 16, I was sailing those on gravel pits in London. And then I've owned boats since about sometime in the 1980s. I've owned boats. The one before this, which was smaller, I kept it here, and I owned that from about 1998 until 2015 when I sold it and bought this one.
Wow.
So I've been around boats. I've done training in the sense that I've actually done the theory courses.
Okay, yeah.
But I've never bothered to go out and do the practical courses.
I'm under the impression in the UK the only thing we require seems to be a VHF licence.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to try and get a bit because
there are people out there that obviously haven't
even got that. No.
Yeah.
We're aware as to why we need the radio licence.
Yeah, it's actually 2 licences. It's a ship's licence, which is a licence for the boat to say that you've got a radio. That's free.
Okay.
If you apply for it online, it's free. And it basically, the reason why they made it free was because it's useful that the Coast Guard have got a log of you, and they give you a call sign,
Okay.
and they know who that radio is.
Yeah.
tied to.
I've read
So
about
it's
that.
useful because when you call up and they can hardly hear you, and you say we're sinking, they've got some idea of who you are.
Who you are.
So
and
that's
where
the
you-
ship's license. Then you need an operator's license. The operator's license, yes, there is some training. It's a sort of half a day to 1 day course.
Oh,
It's
that's
dead
not too
easy,
bad.
and then you get a certificate at the end of it. And that's your operator's license. But the crazy thing about boating in this country is there's no other requirements. I mean, there were people out there that haven't got radio licenses, obviously, but there were
Yeah.
not even an obligation to get insurance.
No.
And it's interesting because other legislatures like France have taken a much different view. In France,
ICC.
there are several different levels that you need. If you want to take a sailing boat out,
Yeah.
you need one. If you're taking a motorboat out with an engine up to a certain size, you need another. If you're taking a big motorboat out, you need another, and so on. And you need those licenses. Now, in this country, the RYA, the kind of controlling body of sailing,
Yeah.
Royal Yachting Association, have taken the view of education, not legislation. They like to think that everybody who's going to go out there will get some training, get some education, and that's the way it will keep it safe. They have always had this mantra, they don't want legislation. But I've always said to people when I've had this conversation, because people who don't know anything about boating say to me, oh, you go sailing, yeah, you've got a boat, oh yeah, you must have to do a lot of courses, and you're going to go,
No.
you don't need nothing. And the example that I give of what I fear is going to happen at some point is that somebody is going to go into Poole and go into Sunseekers in Poole and hand over a cheque for a large amount of money and buy a whacking great powerboat.
Yeah.
And Sunseekers will just say, there you go,
Yeah. Of
here's the
course.
keys, off
No
you go.
problem. Yeah.
And the guy or the person, let's not be sexist, will get in that boat and will drive it out of Poole Harbour, not knowing what they're doing, where they're going or whatever, and will maybe make a sharp left or sharp right turn onto the beaches of Sandbanks or Studland, and will kill some kids swimming in the water.
Ah. Yeah.
Now that's
yeah.
what I fear will happen. And at that point when it happens, all the newspapers, all the tabloids will be going, how could this happen?
Yeah.
How could this be allowed to happen, that you could go out and buy what is a lethal weapon and kill some innocent kids?
Absolutely.
And then there'll be the government
We'll change the rules
suddenly go,
eventually.
hang on a minute, we need to legislate, we need insurance, we need
Yeah.
training, we need
Absolutely.
legislation. So at the moment, I mean, I don't support the RYAs. I would like to see
Legal
some training,
responsibility. Yeah.
and I'd like to see perhaps mandatory insurance as well, because again, if you collide with another boat,
Insurance, I can't believe is a
No.
mandatory. When we
No.
found out you didn't need
No.
anything, we were shocked at that. We were like,
no, the only reason you need insurance, if you're in a marina like this,
yes, I was about to say.
you need third-party liability up to 2
Yeah.
million or whatever, so that
But
if
it's
your
always-
boat catches fire and burns another 3 or
Yeah,
4 boats,
yeah.
then you're covered. But that's the only time you need insurance. You don't need any other kind of insurance. And so you get a situation where if you hit another boat or another boat hits you, then if you haven't got insurance, it's kind of hard cheese, isn't it, really?
It is.
Yeah.
We completely agree with. So
Yeah.
we don't require anything, but we've already booked in with I believe his name's Rob Gibson.
Yeah.
Down in
Yeah.
Poole.
Yeah.
So we're going to be training with that
Yeah.
school for
Yeah.
now, Poole Sailing. Hopefully get a bit of experience
Yeah,
behind
well,
us.
with that, I mean, all you need to do with a boat like that is to do what's called Powerboat 2.
So this is our friend boat,
Right,
Spreads,
okay.
but we're going to be buying a
You're
smaller
saying-
ship than yourself.
But are you buying a motorboat or a sailing?
Ours is mine's going to be a sailing ship.
Sailing ship. Okay. Well, then you can go off and do competent crew or one of the
Yeah,
other,
that's what we're going to start off
one of
at
the other ones like
competent,
that. And that'll
move up
teach
to day
you the
skipper.
things that you need to know. So it'll teach you the rule of the road. It'll teach you about buoyage, about navigation marks. It will teach you about, what to avoid in situations with other boats. It'll teach you a bit about tides and stuff like that. And that's really all you need to know to go sailing. It's not. It would fill a small pamphlet. That's all.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
a
yeah.
major amount that you need to know.
No, that's good.
Beyond that, you can go on and do all the other courses, but actually competent crew is
sufficient.
great, it's sufficient.
Well, my friend over there, Ian, I'm Ian by the way, my friend's also Ian, he's going to be happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Would you mind, I know I've kept you for quite some
Yeah.
time now, tell us a little bit about your boat. Would that
It's
be okay,
a-
a little rundown?
It's a Moody S31.
A Moody S31. Does that mean it's 31 feet long?
Yeah, it was built in 1995, so it's 25 years old.
Wow, okay. It's a little younger than I am.
Moody's used to build boats. Well, Moody's no longer really exists, the company. The name was sold to Hansa. So there are boats still being built called Moody's, but they're actually built by Hansa out in Europe.
Yeah, I understand.
Moody's was a British company, long history. The main base was at Swanwick on the Hammer. Their boats were both built for them down in Plymouth by a company called Marine Projects, who also build Princess motorboats.
Okay.
This was one of those. Now this was the last, this range, the S31, was the last of the small mooders. They built, for a few more years, they were building bigger boats, but this was the last of the small mooders. It's
small.
It's a cruiser. It's
At
not
31 feet, I'm aware that it's relatively short, shall
Yeah.
we say. However, yours is a specifically long boat. Just to give YouTube a comparison, I'll show YouTube a comparison next time.
Yeah.
But it is, I'm sorry, sir.
That's all right.
I've just got to show it. It's a very nice, wide boat. It's a lot of space up here. Clearly, a lot of space inside. We've got 2 cabin windows at the top. Lovely big cabin at the back. Lovely big cockpit, shall we say?
Yeah.
Cockpit.
Yeah.
Beautiful, really. How many masts we got? We've got 1. I'm told that's the definition of a ketch or a sloop.
This is a Bermudan sloop.
A Bermudan sloop.
A sloop is a boat with 1 mast, 1 foresail, and a standard to try and get a sails like that. Bermudan sloop.
Yeah.
Ketch has a 2nd mast.
Yeah, that's it.
And
Goes one way or the other.
then you also get what are called cutters, where you have 2 foresails. So like this boat behind us here, which has got what's called a cutter rig.
Oh
It
yeah.
has
Which
two
see two
it has
front sails.
2
Yeah.
foresails on it. Yeah. Actually, the reason why that has 2 foresails is it's not because it's particularly a cutter rig. It's actually because the jib, one of the sails, is actually self-tacking. It's got a track in front of the mast there, and the sail, when you go from one tack to the other tack, go through the wind, the sail self-tacks on that track. But the thing about self-tacking jib is it has to be relatively small. It can't come after the mast, so it doesn't give a massive sail area. So that boat has 2 foresails. It has a bigger foresail, a bigger sort of Genoa type sail, to give more power in situations where you want to go faster.
Wow, you seem to know a lot about these stuff, buddy. God, it's endless though, is it not? Do you mind if I take a little walk down your boat?
Yeah.
So this is the Moody. As he said, they don't make many of these now.
Well, they made 180 or so of this particular
I get a little
model.
nervous here. Like, lovely big space, lovely big boat. I mean, this is, in terms of what we're after,
Yeah.
your boat, Gareth, is just about perfect. We don't think we're going to get one in Gareth's wonderful condition.
Especially during lockdown, you know, from March till July, when I was furloughed and locked down here and all the rest of it. I had nothing else to do other than just clean the boat all the time.
Yeah. Is that what yours is in such lovely nick? No, it was a green last week.
I just like keeping it clean.
No. You've took brilliant care of this. You can see that it's in certainly well looked after. As we were saying, guys, it's only a 31 foot, so it's around the same size, but we're probably not going to get the space utilisation, unfortunately. Gareth, you've been a fantastic guest.
It's all right.
Thank you very much,
No
sir.
problem.
I'd shake your hand, but we're in the middle of a pandemic.
No, that's all right.
And have a good day, young man. Have a good day, Gareth. Thank you very much.